Okay, so I was just thinking, if I am the buyer and I do not have money to pay my broker, my buyer broker for the compensation, under the new rules, laws, whatever you want to say, and when the house that I find, the seller's like, no, not paying it. Could I, in my offer, put in there that I am willing to pay this much for the house, but I would like this much back in closing costs, and now I can roll that into my loan?
All right. So here is where public and professionals are all trying to find the workarounds for what is going on with the NAR settlement. And because compensation for realtor commission is no longer allowed to be in our MLS, there is an allowance for concessions from the seller to be paid on behalf of the buyer. So as your example, if you were a buyer and you wanted to have consideration for a portion of your closing costs being paid by the seller, depending on the type of loan that you have, that could be as much as maybe 6% that the seller is able to give to you, not you specifically, but you as a credit on the ALTA statement, on the settlement statement through the closing process, that $12,000 is assisting you, whether you use it for your down payment, your closing cost, or whatever on your side of things, right?
Yeah.
That is still allowed, but it's very specifically stated in this settlement that that compensation is not for realtor fees. So it cannot be used per se as the realtor fees. So,
But if I'm already bringing money to the table, this is just a reallocation of funds.
correct. And so, as long as there is no documentation language, the technicality is the sellers agreed to give you 6% back on a $200,000 purchase, which would be $12,000 for you to use as your closing costs. Now, your lender fees, your closing cost, everything that is on there may only come up to $9,000. You don't get the check then for $3,000 back to you because buyers don't get money back at the closing table. So if you don't have those expenses, then you won't get the use of up to that amount. So that's the very technical language in the contract and in these agreements, is up to a dollar amount. And if it's not used, then it's lost. Basically, the seller didn't have to pay it, you didn't have to pay it. But on the settlement statement, the way that those, and here's where we've had issues, is because title companies are now having to say, well, how do we handle this? Oh, by the way, this is a great conversation for us to have with our friend, Andy, right?
M&M title.
Hey, Andy, how are you going to handle this? Because I've already had multiple title companies who handled it different. So if the line item for the listing agent and their dollar amount earned, and the line item for the agent, for the buyer's agent, and the dollar amount they earned is a dollar amount that's being deducted from the seller side, it can't be given as a credit for the buyer's side. One title company said, nope, can't happen. One lender said, nope, can't happen. Another title company says, yeah, we don't have a problem with it. It's money on the and it's shown where it's going to. So it is absolutely going to come down to the interpretation of what this requirement is. If the DOJ settlement is specific as to compensation for realtor services is not to be addressed in the MLS, that's the door that's opened where brokerages can list it on their own website that this is how they're going to compensate, and buyers can ask for concessions and use that on their settlement statement as they need to offset the costs that they have. Long answer out of that, seek legal attention and advice, because I can't tell you legally what you can do. Theoretically, does it meet the terms of the settlement, and will the title company allow this to happen? Will your lender allow this to happen? All of those things have to be on a case-by-case situation.
Yeah.
So there's no clean-cut, easy answer for it.
Well, that's interesting.
But you can't ask for seller concessions, so
Okay.
we're going to see more of that because, we were having to make offers where we were just giving a clean purchase price, and we weren't asking for, if we didn't ask for inspections, we didn't ask for a home warranty,
Yeah.
we weren't asking for title insurance coverage. We were taking it all on ourselves as the buyer. I'm in this for the long haul. And closing cost assistance hasn't been talked about on a buyer's behalf from sellers for about 4.5 years.
Yeah.
Sellers have definitely taken the opportunity to not offer that, right?
Yeah.
When you have multiple offers, you don't have to give away as much. You don't have to take as much away off of the net dollar line. But now we're going to see those come back because they're going to be begging for buyers to come through their houses. And if they're not offering compensation, then those buyers may not be coming through because the buyer doesn't want to pay more money out of their pocket.
Yeah.
So how can I get compensated for that? Oh, well, let me ask for concessions from the seller, and then that helps me to make sure I can still do what I need to do.
Yeah. Leave it to the government to make stuff more complicated.
Let's just fix it.
Yeah.